cliches. In Japanese anime, this usually refers to some plots that have been overused, a plot system that is too mature. An example of this is in Japanese anime when the protagonist enters an isekai, and because he gets the aura of being the protagonist, he'll never die, encountering impossibly strong enemies and reversing the fight through a flashback or a memory. Then joining organizations, gaining companions, going through struggles, friendship, and ultimately victory. The legendary Jump manga's 3 rules, as well as a save the world story. Although the number of these anime have decreased in recent years, they were very popular in the past. Anti-cliches. This refers to not following the overused ideas, but creating a completely new one. Like in Overlord, where the protagonist crosses over into an isekai, not on the side of justice, but on the side of evil. But who said that evil must fight with justice? In the anime The Devil is a Part-Timer, the devil and hero character have a pretty nice relationship. Or like in Zombielandsaga, which is obviously not an isekai anime, but an idol anime, where the main character dies in the first minute of the first episode. The most famous example of these anti-cliches is in the anime puellamagi Madoka Magica. This anime completely subverts my conventional thinking of love and magic for magic girls. Whoever dares to remember first, dies first. A protagonist is 1% perspiration and 99% lucky. But recently, there have been more and more cruel anime, manga, and light novels that express the story by letting the protagonist die. Instead, the anti-cliche has now become a cliche. However, the most popular type of anime at the moment is still the leisurely isekai anime, which has both cliche and anti-cliche works, like the 2020 animes My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, and Ascendance of a Bookworm. My Next Life as a Villainess is about the reincarnation of the heroine as an antagonist character in an otome game that she has played before. And as an antagonist character, she has to face various utter doom endings. In order to avoid this bad ending, she begins to slowly take countermeasures to try and avoid things going the same way, as she tries to make all the characters in this game not kill her. My view of this anime can be divided into 2 parts. One is when the heroine is still a child, and the other part is where she grows up and enters magic school. For the first part, although there are flaws, it is still a light and pleasant work. It's rare to see the protagonist of an isekai not change the world of his own knowledge from another world or with a special ability gained in this new world, but rather considering the premise of how to survive if they encounter a bad ending. At the same time, the thinking ability of the heroine is also somewhat different from that of normal people. The first reaction on the premise of knowing that you might be exiled is to practice farming to prevent death by starvation later. In the process, however, all male characters, parentheses, and all female characters, were gradually collected into her harem. For the first part, although the artwork is a bit poorer and the character's illogical behavior is a bit problematic, the funny and novel plot can temporarily keep the audience's attention from the disadvantages. However, for the second part, when the heroine and her harem went to the Academy of Magic and met the heroine of the game, at this moment, all the shortcomings of the anime become obvious, which is the fact that this anime sacrificed too many other elements to be funny. First of all, let's make sure that this anime contains a few important elements of magic, academia, love, and funniness. The first is the magic element. Although most characters appearing in the anime all have their own magic attributes, except for the dark magic of Raphael Walt, which plays an important role in the plot, the other magic attributes are purely for cosmetics. Especially Maria, having light magic, which is the strongest magic in this world, but the actual performance of this magic is only having the power to treat injuries, also known as a band-aid in isekai, coupled with the artwork of poverty, what should have been the godlike magic battle I expected, turned into a playhouse for children. Then there's the school element. As a school anime, they lack the same thing other school anime lack, which is the fact that they never go to class once. Their activities in school consist of drinking tea in the student union, eating desserts in the library, and farming in the garden. Are you sure they came here for school instead of for a vacation? What about the performance of the love element? Although each character expresses their love for the heroine, parentheses again, including women, these are all unrequited love rather than true love. That's because the heroine, Katarina Kleiss, is too slow relationship-wise, never realizing the unrequited love other characters have for her, always considering things from the perspective of her friends. So in the anime, you can hardly see the heartbeat plot of the male and female protagonists like in other traditional love works. As for the light and happy rhythm of this work, the author deliberately weakens the conflict of the story and repeats the jokes and humor, causing some of the later plots to look childish. Let me give you an example. It's as if I went to a restaurant and ordered a steak. Although the steak didn't look exquisite, the taste was okay. Then when I went to the restaurant for a second time, I ordered a lobster. The chef garnished the lobster with various ingredients to make this lobster look much more exquisite than the steak. but the ingredients that were used didn't express the original taste at all, just being some add-ons. And alas, the taste of the lobster was the same as the steaks. A typical example of an anime slowly changing from an anti-cliché to a cliché. Also, as an isekai anime, Ascendance of a Bookworm performs better, setting-wise, as an anime. This is one of the best and most enjoyable isekai anime I have seen in recent years, and the key reason for this is because this anime is not overly ambitious in its story, and it instead crafts a narrative about how the little things we do can affect others around us. Compared to those blood-boiling, exciting battles, and touching stories, this anime creates an isekai that more closely resembles medieval Europe. Part 1 of this anime is about a girl who was crushed to death by a book, and then traversed into a little girl named Mine, who then began to want to read books crazily. Although I still can't understand the death method of being crushed to death by a book, and the desire of the heroine for books. Part 1's Mine is as innocent as a peasant girl, dedicating everything to making books. However, in Part 2, she began to become a noble. Facing various pressures and such, she must learn to succumb to other nobles and spend part of her reading time learning the etiquette of the nobility. Compared to Katarina Kleiss, the King Kong who has lived in an isekai for several years and still has not changed her mindset, Mine is more like a real little girl. Final evaluation, these leisurely and interesting isekai anime are very worth watching. Of course, if you think that this kind of isekai anime is still very cliche, you can try watching Transforming into a Spider, Transforming into a Vending Machine, or even Transforming into a Toilet. But if you have long been tired of the mature system of Japanese anime, you can try watching this Japanese anime, Tower of God, based on a well-known Korean manga. I don't know how to introduce this work, because its manga contains too many things, close to 500 chapters, and is still being updated. The 13-episode anime is only 5% of the manga. It's almost like a large trailer. The early parts of this manga gave me a feeling similar to HUNTER, that type of breakthrough, plus intelligence, plus ability. But the latter is different. Each time you pass a level, you're not only promoting a plot, but also drawing out the characters and depiction of the world. The difference of this anime from other ordinary anime is that although this work has conflicts between the antagonist character and the just character, the author will not simply affirm nor deny any party, as all parties have different ideas. This is also one of the themes in Tower of God. Cliché anime. Villains want to change the world, heroes hopes to stop them. The so-called save the world is actually maintaining the status quo. But in Tower of God, villains want to maintain the status quo, heroes want to change the world. Of course, the hero and villain are pretty much the same. You can even flip between the two, as there are no good or bad guys. What's unique is that other than the influence of HUNTER in the early parts of the manga, you can't see the shadow of any other work in the later parts of the manga. Compared with dystopia and isekai during the Middle Ages type of anime, the background portrayal of Tower of God is more open and free, full of fresh ideas, and will not be bound by a simple word to frame the work. Now that I've said so much about the advantages of the manga, what about the performance of the anime? When I watched the anime's trailer, I was completely fascinated by the peculiar style and background music in Tower of God, as well as its opening and ending music, being completely in line with the style of Tower of God. But the disadvantages are also quite obvious. First of all, the personality of the protagonist is too common compared to other unique depictions, music, and style. If the other protagonist in the other anime is 1% perspiration and 99% lucky, then in Tower of God, the protagonist is 25% inspired, 25% lucky, 25% yasashi, and 25% cute-faced. However, this disadvantage is understandable, because the author wanted to create a naive and cute protagonist similar to a blank piece of paper, and after a variety of things, slowly growing into a mature and cool protagonist. Truth be told, I actually really like this type of character design. But the second disadvantage of this anime is much more serious, which is the fact that the anime deletes many plot settings from the manga, especially those related to combat. Most viewers who haven't read the manga might think, who am I? Where am I? What am I watching when they watch this anime? Completely not understanding how they fight, who has the advantage, and who has the disadvantage. It seems that the anime producers are trying to attract the viewers to read the manga before watching the anime. Although I admit that the art style in the later parts of the manga is great, there is a slight difference between the art style of the early parts of the manga and the anime, which may make viewers from the anime unaccustomed. Come and compare. This is the difference between the same character in the manga and in the anime. Yeah, just a little difference. I can only hope that the enactment can be completed in the second season of the anime, as I don't want an anime that meets my requirements in terms of style, music, and plot just die as a fetus. But if you're tired of the protagonist of high school students and want to see an anime featuring adults, I strongly recommend this work, Wave. Listen to me. This anime is about the heroine, Minari Koda, who went to drink at a bar because of a breakup with her ex, but ended up going to work in radio. In particular, this work is more like a teen sitcom rather than an anime. Like one of those, if you add laughing sounds like this, along with the background music, nothing would be out of the ordinary. The heroine doesn't shout, "I want to be the radio queen," like other Japanese protagonists. Instead, the reason for her work is simply because of money. Not just the heroine, but the other characters' lives are also very realistic, close to the life of the viewers, making us feel more intimate with them. Compared to an anime dedicated to describing work, this anime is more like describing the daily life of a group of interesting people. At the same time, this anime doesn't sacrifice other elements for funniness. Even the author's detailed portrayal of the career of radio is very meticulous. Reducing the dark side of the workplace and highlighting the personality of each character makes this anime funny, but not childish. Ordinary, but not lacking passion. The adaptation from the manga to the anime is also very good. It's difficult to find an anime as good as this anime in terms of the artwork, music, and cast voices performance in 2020. And the appropriate changes and arrangements of the plot by the anime production team makes this anime have more interesting elements within its limited content. Especially in the last episode of the anime, the portrayal of the disaster and the actions of the characters during the disaster, showing the importance of radio, is just overall superb. If the full rating were to be 10 points, I would give this anime 20 points. Young viewers might think, this is the world of adults when watching this anime, while adult viewers will feel, this is youth when watching this anime. The only drawback of this anime may be that the popularity is too low and the length is too short. 20 minutes a week isn't enough for watching, and this anime should be adapted to those 40-minute long shows suitable for Japanese TV series. Also in 2020, there is a job anime called Smiledowntherunway, whose theme is similar to Wave, Listen to Me. Although I don't really understand the knowledge of fashion and clothing, I can see that the artwork of this anime is really a bit poor. As I predicted in my video, Spring 2020 Anime Analysis and Predictions, this anime uses a lot of background light to make up for its disadvantages in the art style of its scenes. Most of the time, the scenes look like this, and this. If you don't turn on the lights when you watch this anime at night, because of the length of this video, I only introduced these 5 anime, but there are actually many more anime that are better watches in 2020, and I'll introduce these unmentioned anime in my next video.